Unless you've been living under a rock, you are aware that Taylor Swift just got engaged to Travis Kelce, and she posted it on her Instagram. It made my week. I was so happy. I was elated for like a solid 24 hours, and even now, just thinking about it, I'm like heart happy, heart full. But it made some of y'all very mad, which is strange, very strange. And in this video, I'm gonna unpack why it made some people mad and why haters are high-key fans too, and how hating Taylor Swift is really just showing a lot of people's misogyny. So the first thing that people were pressed about was her caption, and it makes absolutely no sense to me why people were mad about it. So if you're not aware, she captioned her engagement post, "Your English teacher and your gym teacher are getting married," and people were mad at it, I think because they didn't understand. So let me bring some context into it. The caption was a nod and an inside joke that has been in the fandom for the past 6 years. 6 years, okay? Because her releasing Folklore and Evermore really caused us to pull out our dictionaries. By we I mean fans of Taylor Swift, not the general public, have been calling her an English teacher since well before the engagement, not music teacher. And this pressed some people like, she's a musician, why not music teacher? Because it's a nod to a joke by fans. Like she wasn't just saying it just to say it. Like the post and the caption were for the fans, okay? Like she didn't have to post to tell us, but she did, and she like acknowledged the fans in a way by her caption. Y'all are not getting this, okay? It was not random. She did not use it to like pick on English teachers. The caption was an inside joke. And back in February of 2024, Taylor Swift, I think, kind of alluded to the fact that she's either seen the jokes or maybe she was just answering the question. But in an interview, she said that if she were to pick a subject to teach, she would pick English, reaffirming that. And then she expanded on the joke by referencing Travis as a gym teacher, because obviously he plays football. People were mad, and people who weren't even teachers were mad at it. I saw 1 or 2 teachers being mad at Taylor Swift calling her teacher, being like, oh, Taylor Swift should try to teach a class or whatever since she wants to cosplay as English teacher, whatever. A lot of people mainly talking about her billionaire status when they talk about this, and it makes absolutely zero sense, because like Taylor Swift is not responsible for the fact that teachers are underpaid and underfunded in this country. That's actually the government's fault, and y'all should be mad at your politicians more. But I see more people being mad about Taylor Swift for issues that they should be mad about their senators about. Like, you should be having this vitriol for your senator, for your local state representative, for your governor even. Like, do you think Taylor Swift is signing teachers' checks? She's signing them? She's doing that herself? Oh, I didn't. When did that start happening? The tweets are just hilarious to me. One person saying, stop calling Taylor Swift an English teacher. She's stupid and has never taught anyone anything other than how to be annoying and greedy. Put some respect on real teachers. Okay. The thing is, people have been calling Taylor an English teacher for a long time, but you're only mad on Check's Notes August 27th after the engagement, after Taylor Swift refers now to herself as an English teacher. And I know they're referring to the annoying and greedy because of the vinyl variants, when Taylor Swift is not the first artist to have vinyl variants, nor is she the last, nor does she have the most, but y'all don't want to hear me, y'all just want to dance. And another person, this is probably one of the most viral tweets about her in general, was like, I don't believe Taylor Swift reads, maybe books that were made into movies that Shailene Woodley starred in, but that's kind of the upper limit, which is just disingenuous and completely false, because Taylor has talked about books that she read, specifically with Folklore and Evermore. I don't know the names off the top of my head, I'm not that deep of a fan, but I know she read like at least like 2 serious real books as she was writing for that album that she's mentioned, and she's mentioned a lot of other books in the past, not just this weird tweet here that reeks of misogyny, reeks of hating women. Like, I don't believe Taylor Swift reads. You don't know her. Do you know that? You know that you don't know her? Like, neither do I, but like a lot of people are way too comfortable making a lot of assumptions and like kind of projecting their own insecurities onto Taylor. Like, why do you think that? Why do you think that Taylor Swift doesn't read? Why do you think that? But to the contrary, a lot of people were still like happy for her engagement and trying to fight back against the trolls, because people were just being weird. People were being very weird about her engagement and about her caption, and it was just crazy, because since the release of Folklore and Evermore, there have been a lot of courses, English courses specifically, on Taylor Swift and literature, Taylor Swift and writing, exploring Taylor Swift and poetry at numerous universities. Number 1 being Harvard, okay? She's being taught at Harvard, and y'all are talking about she can't call herself an English. Okay. Okay, like actual English teachers are teaching about Taylor Swift and how her work, insert whatever, because all the courses are slightly different, so I can't say like generally what they're talking about, but they're teaching about Taylor Swift and writing in English in conjecture with each other, and y'all are acting like she can't make a joke about it. She can't talk about it. Like, we have an actual Shakespeare expert comparing Taylor Swift to Shakespeare, and like Twitter people are getting mad. Okay. And a common thread that you will note is all of the courses that I showed were introduced or started before Taylor Swift announced her engagement. So like this, her having courses dedicated to studying her and writing, she has courses dedicated to studying her career and economics and sociology and all of these other topics, but I specifically focus on her and writing, introduced well before her engagement post, like 2022, 2023. I even saw courses as early as 2021. So I don't think it's far-fetched to think that she would have seen, or someone showed her, hey, look, Harvard is teaching a course on you and your writing. Like, hello? Yeah, she probably has seen that, and then she thought, fun caption idea for her engagement. And so obviously, at least some in the literary world are paying homage to her and her writing, but people on the internet can't be normal about it. And why do I think that is? Misogyny. Because I think people think that like misogyny means that like you hate all women and like you want to oppress all women, but like misogyny pervades so many aspects of our life, so many aspects of the world in general. Like, it is 2025 and women are still, like, there is still a pay gap between men and women, between Black women and white women, between, like, there are so many discrepancies by just having a different identity. So to act, I think people like think that like misogyny has gone away, it doesn't really exist anymore, but like it is still very much there and very much present in all parts of our life, because y'all hate women, and it shows. Like, a little innocent inside joke in the fandom, with the fandom, between Taylor and her fans, angered so many people. Like, not even like, it would be, to me, I probably wouldn't have even made this video if it was just like one silly person. So many people, like not just one person, so many people were going out of their mind because of her engagement post, because of her caption, and I'll touch on one other thing in a bit. And it's just because like so many people they hate women. Their hatred of Taylor Swift is a manifestation of their misogyny in general. Walk with me here, okay? Because some of the haterish behaviors are contributing to the fact that Taylor Swift is as relevant and as famous as she is in this age, 2025. Because a fan is someone who shows interest in or strong admiration for in a person or thing, a factual definition. A lot of haters, while they might not show admiration for Taylor Swift, they damn sure show a lot of interest in what she is and what she's doing just by talking about her and commenting on her and keeping her in their minds. That is why she's so famous, because to be famous is to be talked about. To be famous is to be known. To be known, you have to be talked about. That's why you see, like, there's famous people who they kind of fade in and out of fame because they are not talked about as frequently. And we see this, I think, a lot with actors and actresses, because you can be a really famous actor and actress, but if you're not like really seen and out there outside of your press and your movie tours and whatever, like you're not talked about as much. So then you're kind of fade a little bit into the background. And then when you have a new movie, you come back out to light and then you fade into the background. But the thing about Taylor Swift is people keep talking about her. Like, even people who don't like her keep talking about her. We have people who hate Taylor Swift, and yet you go to their page, you go to their TikTok, you go to their Instagram, you go to their Twitter, they have 5 videos on her, 10 tweets on her in the past week alone. Like, the behavior is giving fan. It's not giving hater, it's giving fan. So even if you're like, I hate Taylor Swift, I'm making this to educate the masses, blah, 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 by talking about her, you are contributing to keeping her more relevant, which is keeping her famous. And I say this also because, like, for the engagement post specific, so many people were tuned in, haters and fans alike, okay? Like, everybody was tuned in to the engagement post. Everyone's tuned in. But like, for me, at least for me personally, maybe I'm just, you know, holding everybody up to the standard that I have for myself. But like, if I don't like someone, if I don't think that someone should be famous or relevant, like, I'm not gonna talk about them. I am not going to bring them up constantly and make a bunch of TikToks about them, post about them on Twitter, and make a YouTube video about, like, I'm not gonna do that because I don't like them. So why would I do that? Like the saying goes, all press is good press. You talk about Taylor Swift, she stays relevant, she stays famous. Like, what's not clicking, guys? And then I guess the last thing this week that people are mad about is about her being supposedly MAGA adjacent. Yeah, you heard that. It's funny because it's so false that it's like, I'm like, where do you even start with something like this? It's like, okay, a certain somebody has done irreparable damage to the fact that people can just say whatever they want, do whatever they want with no history, no facts, nothing backing up what they're doing or what they're saying. Like, you can, in this day and age now, you can say, do, think, feel whatever you want with relatively no repercussions. And I hate that. I hate that for us. Not that I think that we should live in, like, you know, a fascist state where, you know, someone's controlling what you're thinking, feeling, and saying, or rather what you're saying. But like, we used to live in a time when you couldn't just report on obviously false things. Like, reputable news sources talking about Taylor Swift is leading us into conservatism. Are we talking about the same Taylor? Are we talking about the same Taylor? Because Taylor Swift has been very anti-MAGA for like not her entire career. Let me not say that, because MAGA didn't exist her entire career. Let's get that one thing for sure, one thing for certain. Since MAGA's inception, Taylor Swift has been very anti-MAGA to the point where MAGA's leader came out and said that he likes her 25% less. And I can go into how I think that him saying that he likes her 25% less is actually alluding to the fact that, like, he never really hated her. He just didn't like that she wasn't for him. Because if he hated her, like, MAGA's leader has had very creative insults in the past for his enemies or people he doesn't like. And him just saying he likes her music 25% less now, it's actually very innocuous, like, looking back at it. Like, it's not that bad of a statement to make, actually. But since then, I think people think that Taylor has more political power than she actually does, because Taylor denounced MAGA's leader in 2019. Right? Yeah, 2018, 2019 is around when she came out very publicly in opposition to MAGA's leader. She supported Joe Biden in his 2020 bid, and he won. She supported a senator in Tennessee, a smaller local race. He lost, which I don't even think it was a close lose. I think he lost, like, really badly, if I remember correctly. And she supported Kamala Harris back in her 2024 bid, who also lost. So, like, there's, like, this interesting, like, it's, like, people think that I think that Taylor has more sway politically than she actually does, and that's just simply not true. And we've seen in the past how Taylor being outspoken for things has led to weird stuff happening in terms of putting her own security at risk and putting the security of her fans at risk. She had to cancel her concert in Vienna because there was a credible terrorist threat to the event. So it's not just her she has to consider. I don't fault her for not making a political statement during the Eras tour, because it wasn't just her at risk, it was the hundreds of thousands of people who were seeing her every weekend or every stop in a certain city. And in total, you know, the millions of people that she saw over the culmination of the tour, like, those people's lives were in her hands for the time for her concerts, right? And, like, I just think it's a little bit like, you're not living in reality a little if you think that Taylor Swift speaking out about a certain issue is going to immediately solve that issue. I just think that you're not being serious, you're not being real, and that people expect from Taylor Swift what they should be expecting from their politicians. And it's really sad to see. It's really sad to see. Like, y'all are not calling your representatives this much. Y'all are not calling your senators this much. Y'all are not in your governor's office like this. You're not. And how I know you're not is because if you were, like, things would be different. But you are busy hounding Taylor Swift on the internet. Meanwhile, your teachers are earning $50,000 a year. Okay, like, that's an issue that you can actually lobby for and fight for in your city, in your state, in your county, and yet you're online spewing hate about Taylor Swift. Right. And Taylor Swift has literally gotten RAPE threats from a certain billionaire. Let's not forget that. And the biggest thing for me is people acting like Taylor Swift should do background checks on every single person that she meets, which is insane. Like, you think, oh, before a fan is gonna take a picture with Taylor, she's gonna, oh, so who did you vote for in the last election? Like, she's not gonna do that. She's not gonna do that. And it is insane to me that I think people are also saying this because that Taylor is MAGA adjacent because of Travis too. But, like, think about it. Let's think about it logically, right? Travis plays for a team that is owned by MAGA supporters, MAGA adjacent people, actual MAGA adjacent people, right? So Travis's boss is MAGA adjacent, MAGA supporter. Travis's colleagues, some of them, MAGA adjacent, MAGA supporter. What do you think would bode well for him if he was very hostile towards his colleagues and his boss? How do you think that would bode for him in his career? Not well, I can tell you that. So it's not a surprise for me that Travis is cordial with those people who are his teammates and who his boss, people who, I don't know, signing his paychecks. because that's what he has to do. And a lot of people in America, I hate to say it, but a lot of people in America are MAGA adjacent. Like 50% of Americans voted for Trump in the last election. 50%. So 50% of the voting population rather. But that's a lot of people. Millions of people. Especially for a white person, it's not hard to be MAGA adjacent in this country, in this political time. Okay? A lot of white people are MAGA adjacent in that their friend, their cousin, their what voted for. Now me personally, at least to my personal knowledge and awareness, I don't have anyone in my immediate circle who is MAGA adjacent. I know people who are MAGA adjacent. They're not my people, but I know people who are MAGA adjacent. That doesn't make me MAGA adjacent just because someone could pull up a photo of me with that person 3 years ago. Like, taking a photo with someone does not mean that you condone their actions, you condone their political beliefs, you condone whatever. Because Taylor Swift is not running background checks on every person she's taking a photo with. Neither am I. Neither am I. Like, I come to find out that information now. I don't hang out with those people. I don't mess with that. I think people they want to hold their own personal feelings or beliefs, political, whatever, inclinations to Taylor. She is allowed to have her own feelings and her own beliefs, and I'm allowed to have mine, right? So me personally, so recently, another thing that people are saying, oh, she's Taylor, she's MAGA adjacent. She went to Travis's cousin's friends or Travis's cousin's wedding, and apparently his cousin is MAGA, which, unless Taylor Swift was looking this person up or just happened to have met them before, like, I don't think she met this family before the wedding. I'm being so serious. The way that everybody was taking pictures with her at the wedding, I don't think that she met that family before the wedding. I think she just showed up with Travis because Travis was invited and she was there. Now me personally, if I was her, you know, I would have done a little research, you know, hey, what are we going into? Knowing that Travis's colleagues, friends, or Travis's colleagues, family, whatever, might be leaning that way, I would have been like, and then I'd be like, okay, you can go, but I'm gonna stay home because I know that that's your family, so you can show up for them, but whatever. That would have been me, but I'm not her. Like, I can't project my expectations onto her because she's her own person. She's allowed to, you know, make her own adult decisions about her life and how she chooses to go about it, right? And I think it's even more baffling to me because conservatives have literally been slut-shaming Taylor Swift for years because of how many boyfriends she's gone through. Oh, is this, are you gonna go home with anything more than a trophy tonight? Just like little snide comments, little, all of this stuff, like just being mean. A lot of vitriol has come her way from conservatives, calling her a childless cat lady. Literally last year, mind you, actually, when the Times profile dropped and she posed with one of her cats. I remember. The North remembers. But like, Taylor Swift is actually the antithesis to me of what conservatives would view her as. This is because I really like this tweet. Totally, anyone who wants to get married should follow Taylor's example, aka putting your career and your goals first, because Taylor Swift has had and will continue to have, she's not retiring, let's get that one thing for sure, one thing for certain, a very long and very successful career prior to getting engaged and married, meeting different people to learn what you want and what you like. What she's done throughout her career, she has met and dated many different people and not afraid to leave when things are not good. Don't be afraid to take time to meet your ideal partner. Her and Travis didn't meet until what, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, and marry someone who constantly celebrates you. Okay, Travis is actually her first boyfriend who is not afraid or intimidated of her success and actually actively celebrates her. And I think because they're in two different spaces, like they're both famous, but they're both famous in different ways. So Travis is like famous in the football world, but Taylor's famous in the music / general world. So like he can celebrate her because he's secure in his own accomplishments. Versus some of her other exes, they were too close to her in the music industry, so they were, you know, feeling the heat in that regard because Taylor Swift was always going to be more successful than a male counterpart of hers in the music industry, at least from the ones she was dating. Or they were just too close in relation to her in the Hollywood space that they felt inadequate, whatever, to her success. Another thing that I like, so to leave Taylor Swift out of this for a second, femininity, marriage, and children do not belong to conservatives. Never has and never will. You can have a happy, fulfilling career and a marriage and be a liberal or progressive. I know several women who do just that. To me, this just seems, this is talking about an article that was clickbaity, talking about how Taylor Swift is like ushering in the rise of conservatism or whatever. The reason why so many women seem to be embracing the conservative travel life model and why it's projected onto women like Taylor is because of economic anxiety. People tend to get more conservative in times of political tensions. There's safety in wanting to be a stay-at-home mom and not having to worry about getting fired. Likewise for men, given their lower rates of college admission, they want to feel like they have the old school boomer / silent generation ideas of masculinity because their lack of economic freedom makes them feel emasculated. They also don't like that women have overtaken them in buying power in the workplace and are lashing out with things that are true. I veered off topic a bit here, but media analysis of marriage and children equals conservative doesn't grasp the complexities of people's feelings about the future. Taylor would never be a kept woman simply because her wealth prevents her. Now, I don't know Taylor's and Travis's relationship dynamics, but she has more money and social standing than him. So really, she holds the power in their dynamic. Maybe they don't think about this at all and they shouldn't because it's stupid, but like in general terms, and I'm veering off what they're saying, Taylor Swift is like the actual man in the relationship. Like she has more money, she has more power, she has more social capital, she has the higher ground in the relationship. But the idea that she's a meek, sweet little wife is ridiculous and not based at all in reality. The people making these pop culture critiques are almost always missing them. It's not that TS is becoming a wife, a mother is a symptom of the growing popularity of conservatism. The normalization conservatism is a symptom of economic uncertainty and also somewhat caused by the normalization of these conservative types through media. Most of these media companies are owned by the rich. Obviously, they wouldn't talk about the real issues. Okay. And like Taylor doesn't need, I saw a post saying that, oh, Taylor needs to get married to continue to secure her fame. But again, like I'm saying, haters talking about Taylor is what is making her more famous. You're saying Taylor needs to get married to maintain her level of fame. Meanwhile, you're contributing to the fact that she is as famous as she is right now by talking about her. And like this commenter said, Taylor Swift does not need to get married for financial security or to continue being famous, as she just announced an album to like everyone's shocked, everyone's surprised. No one knew she was announcing an album this fall. I mean, you know, fans had speculations, but no one knew for sure. And her pre-orders, all of them have sold out for her vinyl variant. 300,000 vinyl, pure vinyl. No other artist is doing it like her. She did not need this engagement. Mind you, this is all prior to engagement. She did not need the engagement, be famous or to stay famous or to maintain her level of fame. Taylor Swift is the financial security, is famous, and was going to continue to be famous regardless of whether she got with Travis or not, as we saw with the Eras tour. Like she's at the peak of her career. Peak, we'd argue, because she has had many peaks throughout her career. People keep thinking, oh, and then she like she just keeps re-peaking. And it, like a quote of hers that she was like, she realized that record labels were trying to replace her, so instead of like staying still, she's like, it's harder to hit a moving target. That's why she's always reinventing herself. New era, new this, because you can't play something that isn't the same. Like in every album, in every era, in every body of work, with the exception of Folklore and Evermore, Taylor Swift has always done something new, something different. She has never done the same thing twice again, with the exception of Folklore and Evermore. So that's why, like, you can't replicate her success, because then you'd just be you'd be copying her. But anyways, Taylor Swift is not the trad wife looking for, okay? Like, she's not MAGA adjacent, and it's just so disingenuous for people to say so and be able to say so with no repercussion. But the last thing I want to talk about is Taylor Swift's billionaire status and how that kind of feeds into a lot of the hate against her. But I want to say this, call me a bootlicker, call me whatever, just bear with me for a second, okay? Taylor Swift is a billionaire in a way that a lot of other billionaires aren't. She is the first billionaire to become a billionaire from her music alone, and most of her billions, or whatever, her net worth, is tied up in her music, which Taylor Swift has said time and time again herself, that she is never and will never, after buying back her masters, sell her music to anyone, and like her goal in life was to always own her master. So that is part of her net worth that she's never going to have liquid cash of, because selling it would mean selling it to private equity, bad billionaires actually. Y'all are mad at Taylor Swift when you should be mad at private equity. Selling it to bad people, the people that are responsible for the housing crisis and general economic downturn in this current political climate, so that she can have this liquid money to do with what you think she needs to be solving. Again, being mad at Taylor when you should be mad at your politicians. But yeah, so she's a billionaire in that her money is made from music. And so part of her net worth is her masters, and then the other part is her properties, which again, she's not going to sell those because those are her homes, okay? And then the rest is from her income, you know, whatever, however, I don't really know how they calculate these net worths, right? But majority of her $1 billion net worth is not stuff that she can just sell and have this money. And even of the money that she does have, like Taylor Swift is still donating, she's just not publicizing it. And this is what either angers fans because they don't know or whatever, but I love this guy on TikTok. He's been clapping back at some of the people who are spreading misinformation about her on Twitter and showing like the receipts. Taylor Swift donates a lot and she just does it without saying. She is the definition of put your money where your mouth is, because that's what she does. She puts her money where her mouth. Throughout the Eras tour, at every single stop, every single city, you might not have known this, every single city, she was donating money to food banks in that city or a nonprofit organization in that city towards a cause of her choosing. She was doing that. She did not publicize it. She could have put together a little press release, you know, done a cute little video, a little TikTok, a little Instagram to say, hey, I'm doing this, join me in donating to this. She didn't, because she's not doing it for the PR, for the press. She was doing it just because that's what she wants to do. She wants to put her money where her mouth is. Same thing with giving her tour crew bonuses. She did not come out and publicize that herself, that, oh yeah, everybody in my crew got bonuses for being on the tour because it was such a long and arduous process and they were traveling with me all across the country, leaving their families, blah, blah, blah. She did not put that out. It was the workers themselves that came out and said, even though we were already being paid very well, she came out and gave us more money as bonuses for the tour, right? Or we're not going to talk about how Taylor Swift has attended fundraisers for organizations. She just does not publicize. She doesn't publicize it. She does things and she does it in silence, and if it comes out, it comes out. But I'm sure there's a lot of things that she's done behind the scenes that just have not come out, because if the recipient does not share, Taylor Swift herself is not going to come out and share. So there's things that if this recipient didn't share, we just will never know. We'll never know. And that is the type of goodwill that more billionaires should have. Taylor has it already, but because she's not publicizing it, people don't care. But for the billionaires that do want to publicize it, or they do want to mention, you know, this little whatever, or I'm more so mad at other billionaires like Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk, who made their money off of, you know, ripping off workers, off of being unfair to workers, off of having weird labor practices, off of, you know, like squashing small businesses, all of these things, right? You made your money in that way, in a way that's very nasty, in a way to me that like you shouldn't have as much money as you do, and in a way that you actually have the liquid cash to do the things that people think Taylor Swift can do. Like there's billionaires that can end world hunger and they choose not to. Like they actually have the liquid money, but they don't do it. But Taylor Swift does not have that liquid money, and it's her expectation to. Yeah. And I think it all comes back to the fact that people don't like women and they don't like to see successful women, and that there is constantly a double standard that Taylor Swift has talked about, of course, in The Man. There's a double standard between men and women, and successful men and women, and Taylor Swift and other successful, like people at her caliber, at her level, at her wealth. There's just this double standard. Like I don't hate people for talking about the billionaire discourse or whatever. Like you see this, like I kept it to the end because I think it is a valid critique of her to want her to do more or to give more with her money. I think that it's okay to be like there's no ethical billionaires, and you'd be right, but there is the double standard in that there's a higher expectation of Taylor Swift than there is of other billionaires. Or the jet thing, which she isn't even in the top 15 jet emissions, and yet she is like the forefront of the jet discussion of like jet usage, when she's not even in amongst the top 15 users. And she also frequently rents out her jet or lets family, friends, other people use it, so it's not exclusively just her. Again, I could go into that forever, but I hope you enjoyed this video of me talking about why Taylor Swift haters are secretly fans. And yeah, that's it. End of rant. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next week for back to regularly scheduled programming, a vlog.